7 24/7 365 vacation. I'm stuffed. I don't know if it's because I was just that hungry or if my body needed it to recover from the damage I took, but the entire frog, which was about the same size as me, is now in my stomach. Physically impossible, you say? What a silly thing to say in a world where mysterious phenomena like skills exist. Besides, it's not like it's entirely impossible. After all, my body is puffed up like a balloon. Whew, if I had a human body, I'd have to start thinking about going on a diet. Though, in my past life, I was one of those people who somehow never gained weight no matter how terrible my diet was, so it's not like I've ever had to diet before. First things first, I'll repair the part of the web that the frog broke. Ugh, my stomach is so heavy and bloated. This is a pain to do. After a hard struggle, I somehow managed to finish the repairs. Thank goodness no other monsters showed up while I was fixing it. Come to think of it, I was probably in danger not just while repairing the web, but while eating the frog too. It's entirely possible that other monsters could have been drawn by the smell. I haven't seen any in this narrow corridor, but I did see that six-legged wolf in the larger passage. That thing looked like it had a keen sense of smell. I could have been in serious danger. From now on, I'll make it a rule to bring my prey back to my home sweet home before eating. Out of the three basic necessities of life, food, clothing, and shelter, I've got food and shelter covered. Clothing? Are you telling me a spider to wear clothes? I see no need for it. This cave stays at a comfortable temperature, neither too hot nor too cold. Besides, my body is already covered in a fine coat of hair. There's no reason to wear clothes, and it's not like I have any to begin with. I suppose I could make something with my thread, but I have no intention of going to all that trouble. I wouldn't even know if I could wear it after making it. Thinking about it like that, I guess you could say my clothing needs are sort of met, right? Whoa, if that's the case, it means I've secured all the basic necessities of life without having to work. Well, I did build a web and went through a lot of trouble to take down that frog, so saying I didn't work for it might be an overstatement. Still, barring any major disasters, I'd say I've established the perfect setup for my dream life of just eating and sleeping. The only potential problems are that a powerful foe might break through my web, or that I might starve if prey doesn't get caught for a while. If some powerhouse strong enough to break through my web does show up, I'll just run away without hesitation. As long as prey gets caught in the web on a regular basis, things will be perfect. If those conditions are met, it's not entirely out of the question for me to stay holed up here for the rest of my life. How wonderful! I went to school in my past life, sure, but for the most part, I lived the life of a shut-in. I would go to school, get through the day without talking to a single person, and then go home and do nothing but surf the internet or play video games. My meals were either the add hot water and wait 3 minutes kind, or something to zap in the microwave. Sometimes I'd mix it up with a bento from the convenience store. Both of my parents worked, so they always came home late. Even when they were home, we hardly ever saw each other, and we barely spoke. Everyone just did the bare minimum of housework necessary for themselves. Frankly, we were just strangers living in the same house. Perhaps because of that lifestyle, I found communicating with others to be a real pain. Although it might have had less to do with my lifestyle and more to do with the personality I was born with. That's why I never had any friends, and I hardly ever spoke, even when chatting in online games. As a result, my online game character developed a reputation for being the quiet, stoic type. The avatar itself was a cool-looking bald old guy. He was a great guy who didn't waste words, the type to let his actions do the talking. His stats were a quirky, all-or-nothing dream build. It was an extreme setup where I pumped everything into physical attack and agility, completely neglecting all other stats. His style was all about dodging, as if to say, it's no big deal if you don't get hit. He'd take down enemies with hit-and-run tactics. He'd die if he got hit, though. I couldn't care less about never seeing my parents or the kids at school again, but the thought of never being able to see that bald old man Avatar again, that makes me a little sad. It's a real shame I had to abandon him mid-game, especially since he'd become one of the few free-to-play powerhouses who could actually compete with the pay-to-win players. Being more attached to a video game character than my own parents? Yeah, even I can admit I'm a pretty screwed-up human. It's the truth, though. I wonder if even parents like that would be sad, even just a little, that I died. Doesn't really matter. If the shoe was on the other foot, I probably wouldn't be that sad either. They'd probably just be a little worried about the financial arrangements. I'm sure some people would get mad if I said this out loud, but honestly, so what? It's not like I was causing trouble for anyone, so I should be allowed to think whatever I want. Causing trouble for my parents? Too bad for that argument. I was actually doing a bit of stock trading in my parents' name and depositing a decent sum into their account every month. You know, if you get the hang of stocks and make steady investments without taking crazy risks, you can actually earn a fair bit. So it wasn't like I was just living off them. I wasn't bothering a soul, so nobody had the right to tell me anything. Well, it's not like any of that matters now. So I'll declare it loud and proud. The Hiki Neat life is the best. A spider without wits is just a spider. That was a good sleep. I slept so much that I actually feel a little sluggish. Still, being able to sleep without a care in the world is just wonderful. I wonder how long I was out. In my previous life, my average was about 4 hours of sleep a night. This feels like that time I passed out from anemia due to sleep deprivation and slept for an entire day straight. But a spider's perception of time is probably different from a human's, so I have no way of knowing exactly how much time has passed. Man, I wish I had a clock. Come to think of it, how much time has passed since I was born? To me, it feels like 2 or 3 days, but in a dungeon, you can't tell day from night. I don't know this world's calendar, and there's no guarantee that a day is even 24 hours long. A year is the time it takes for the Earth to orbit the Sun, and a day is the time it takes for the Earth to complete one rotation. It seems statistically impossible that this world would have the exact same size and orbital period as Earth. But then again, that's just a physical interpretation. If this is some kind of occult-style parallel world or another dimension that operates on laws different from our universe, then I suppose it's not out of the question. Not that I have any way to confirm it. I might leave this dungeon someday, but for now, I'm going to enjoy this lazy life. Well, just lazing around is one thing, but I think I'll use the time to ponder some of the mysteries I've been putting off. First off, how did I die? Actually, when I think about it, I'm just assuming I died. I've convinced myself that I died, was reincarnated, and became a spider, but I don't actually have any memory of dying. My very last memory, I think it was during classics class. Was it while our teacher, the one we called Oka-chan, was reading a passage aloud? I was dozing off when I suddenly felt an incredible sharp pain, and I don't remember anything after that. If I did die, that mysterious, excruciating pain must have been the cause, but the cause of the pain itself is a mystery. The most likely scenario is that I died from that pain. Another possibility is that I didn't actually die and my soul just got transferred into a spider. My original body might be lying in a hospital bed in a vegetative state. An even crazier idea? Maybe I'm just a total stranger who happens to have my memories. The real me might still be sitting in class like normal. There's no end to this if I really start thinking about it. And how would I even prove that I'm not actually me? I am who I am because I am me. I'll try saying something profound but nonsensical like that. The very fact that reincarnation, such a wild idea, is my most likely theory means I've already thrown common sense. For now, let's shelve this topic. I'll just operate on the principle of I think, therefore I am, and live under the assumption that I am me. Next, about my current body. This spider body is pretty convenient. I can move all 8 of my legs freely, maybe even more nimbly than when I was human. I can climb walls, and if I really push it, I can even walk on the ceiling. If I had to list any drawbacks, it'd be the lack of hands and the fact that I have to turn my whole body to look behind me. Not having hands is quite inconvenient. I can use my frontmost pair of legs as a substitute, but I can't get the same fine motor control as I could with human hands. That's a given, since the tips of my legs end in a single sharp claw. There's no way something so dangerous could replace human fingers. It's inconvenient, but I'm managing for now, so I just have to accept it. Now, the other problem is the big one. I can't see behind me. This is pretty dangerous. A spider's neck is fused to its torso, so it doesn't have the ability to turn its head around. I have a very wide field of vision to the sides, probably thanks to my multiple eyes, but not being able to see what's behind me means I'm vulnerable to sneak attacks from the rear. I'm thinking of using my thread to counter this. If it's physically impossible to see what's behind me, I'll just have to rely on my other senses. Specifically, I'll keep a constant web of thread behind me and use the vibrations to perceive what's there. It probably won't be as easy, though. I'll need to practice that later. As long as I'm holed up in my home sweet home, I probably won't be ambushed anytime soon. But it's better to be safe than sorry. Finally, skills. I still have a ton of smaller questions, but for now, this is the last big one. What even are skills? From the game perspective, a skill is basically a talent or a technique. Having skills expands what you can do. But I don't know how skills are treated in this world, so let's not go down that path. What's important are the skills I have now and the skills I might be able to acquire in the future. The skills I know I have for sure are these 3: Appraisal LV1, Acid Resistance LV2, and Poison Resistance LV2. I got Appraisal by spending skill points. These skill points are also a mystery. I used up all my points to get Appraisal, but I don't know how to earn more. In games, you might get them when you level up, but I don't even know if the concept of levels exists in this world, so I can't count on that. Other possibilities are that they accumulate over time, or I might get them by consuming something. In the worst-case scenario, maybe they don't replenish at all. Like skill points are tied to your soul at birth, and once you use them, they're gone forever. That would be a huge shock. I really hope that's not the case.